What's going on, guys? Car Review Guys here. My name is AJ, and this week we have a 2024 Lexus NX350h, and this is the luxury, which is the basically highest trim level of the 350h. We're going to be going in detail. This is the full review. Next video is going to be 5 things to love, 5 things to improve. Every single vehicle gets it every single week. We are going to start with a cinematic, then we're going to go to the exterior stats, figures, all of that kind of stuff, and then we're going to look at the interior, and then we're going to take it on a drive. We are almost to 20,000 subscribers. Thank each and every one of you. Without further ado, let's get right on into it. Let's roll. Starting with some of the stats and figures, this NX350h has a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder pushing 240 horsepower. The transmission comes in a CVT, and your curb weight is right around 4,080 pounds. Now, with all of that said, it's going to push this 350h from 0 to 60 in about 7.2 seconds. Fuel economy, you're looking at 41 city, 37 highway, and 39 average or combined. Fuel tank is 14.5 gallons. Now, touching on the vehicle dimensions, stopping right here on the side profile, and I apologize for the shadows, it is super bright today. With that said, your dimensions, you are looking at 15.3 feet from the overall length, and then your height is around 5.5 feet. And then if we come to the front here, the overall width, you're looking at right around 6.1 feet. Pricing is important, of course. The 350h starts at $44,615. The Tester today is coming in at $56,855. Let's look at some of the exterior. I believe that is most of the stats and figures that you would like to know. Now, you've got triple beam LED headlamps and, of course, the signature runner. And then down here you do have fog lamps, and then also this one right here, it basically projects out to the side so that whenever you're turning, it will turn on so you can kind of see around corners. Moving on around, you're going to notice underneath the mirror, if I can get under there, you can see there's a camera. This one does have the optional, it's called a panoramic view, which is basically the 360 camera. And I will show you that on the inside. And then the door handles are fixed, so there's just a little pad on the inside that you can basically touch. If I can put both fingers in there, you can see the door handle does not move, but the door opens. With that said, you do have keyless entry, of course, which is right there and also on the rear doors. So definitely nice to have on all 4 doors. You're going to notice that the fuel doors here on the driver's side, and you may be asking, what color is this press vehicle? This one is, I believe, cadmium orange. Whether it is or isn't still available, honestly, not 100% sure. Either way, that is the color on this press vehicle. Let's come on around to the rear. You've got Lexus spelled out there, NX350h, all-wheel drive, of course. And if you want to pop the rear hatch, basically right in line with the X, a little pad on the inside, and up it goes. Back here it is nice and wide. You can fit golf clubs straight across, which is great without taking the driver out of the bag for those of you that care, and it's just a size reference. Of course, here on the screen I will put the rear capacity. But nonetheless, there is a lot of storage space back here, to be 100% honest. Located over here on the right, you're going to notice these buttons to fold the seats down. And this is an option for power folding seats. It also allows rear heated seats with this same package. If you hold it up, it's going to start coming back up, as you can see. Before we jump into the interior, there are some different combinations and the patterns for the 2024 as far as interior goes. I really like this. Honestly, it looks super white, but it's actually more of like a cream mixed with the black. It just looks super white because it is paired with black. And then if you look really closely, it's actually the orange stitching on this, which again, looks pretty good. As far as materials go on the door panel, this up here is a harder, my goodness, we have a noisy car back there. Anyway, and then back here, this is all soft touch. All of the white is all soft touch leather. Time to test getting in this vehicle. Is it easy or is it not? Of course, we do it every single time. I'm 5'9" if you are new to my channel. So stepping back here, you got to kind of duck just a little bit. It's not bad. And now we are in here. So what I notice is there is a good bit of headroom. There's probably a good 3 inches, probably 2 between my hat, and then my hat has, I don't know, like an inch somewhere in there. And then as far as legroom goes, you've got a good 4.5, 5 inches right there. That seat is exactly where I drive, so you could be very comfortable back here with people that are sitting in front of each other, probably 6'2", 6'3". Past that, if you had two people taller than that, it'd get a little bit tight, but honestly, what are the odds of that, you know? As already mentioned, there are heated seats in the rear, which is the option that also gives these power folding rear seats. And then of course you got a pocket there and a pocket on that side. And then right here, you've got a little fold down for 2 cup holders / an armrest. Time to step into the front here. Step in, see how easy this is. Not much ducking for me at 5'9", just a hair. Very easy as far as height-wise, very easy to step into it. It's not very high, but it's honestly almost perfect. Not too low, not too high, right? Porridge is just right, if you will. Okay, so let's check out the door here. You're gonna notice there are 3 settings for memory seating as I bring the door in here. You've got some wood up here, which looks nice, feels nice. And then similar to the rear door, this is all soft touch. And then I love that the switches have little bezels, makes it feel more premium, as it should be, being a Lexus. Out in front of us, you're going to notice there is a heads-up display. Coming down below, it's basically a digital display in the middle, and then obviously the temp and the fuel gauge is like digital bars, if you will. It's not like it's not like part of that screen, essentially. So maybe one day we'll get an entire just full screen, maybe, not sure. Coming over here, this is all fairly similar, even on a 22 model. Pretty much all the same infotainment, not much different as far as responsiveness goes. I can touch something, and you're probably going to see this flashing. It's just the frame rate. Obviously, it's not doing that in person. So yeah, pretty responsive, easy to use, nice. Up above, you're going to notice there is a digital rear view mirror, which is nice, of course, with home link. So if you don't like it, there's normal, flip it on, digital. So totally up to you, but it is nice to have that feature. Coming back here one more time, you're going to notice heated and cooled seats. And then I did mention we are going to touch on the rear view camera. Press that button, and hopefully the reflection is just so bad. I am so sorry. It's just so bright outside. Yeah, that's probably not coming through well at all. Anyway, you can see it kind of spinning around right now, all the way around the vehicle. Then it's going to go above. Coming down a little bit here, you're going to notice there's a wireless charger and then a few different USB options. You have your drive modes here, and then pretty typical NX. It's been in here for quite some time for the gear selector. 2 cup holders, and then of course for Lexus, you have the signature dual side opening center console, and it is quite large. You could probably fit, I don't know, probably like 4 tissue boxes in there, I bet. It's pretty big. Now, my one complaint on this vehicle, and that's few and far between, because I absolutely love this NX350, but you know, there's some times where it's nice to have buttons. And so if you look at this, right, so you have cruise control to set it right there, But then normally you have like a set, resume, like, but it's just this pad, same as on the left side. With that said, what this does for cruise control, other than obviously your lane centering button there, all of this is controlled through the heads-up display. So like, I'll get this as far as I can and try to zoom in, but hopefully you can see kind of the options and the menus I'm going through. I just wish they would leave the buttons there. I get what they're doing, but when you're driving, number one, in certain lighting sometimes, and it's got to be just perfect lighting, right? Like the heads-up display is super bright, but when it's just right, it's kind of hard to see, and I don't know. I just wish the buttons were there. Not a huge deal, but it is something that I do wish they would bring back. Just leave cruise control buttons on the wheel. That would be nice. Right before we get this out on the road, I am just going to touch on the seats. The leather is super soft. They are still, like as far as like the cushioning goes, it's soft, but it's still firm, right? So it's not overly just cushiony, which I actually really like. So yeah, that's just touching on the seats. And of course you have a ton of adjustability for whatever you would like it to be set at. Okay, I think it's time we get this out on the road. This is definitely where this vehicle shines, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. If anyone is telling you that the Toyota equivalent to the Lexus is identical, go drive the two and I'll leave it at that. You know, Toyota does an amazing job. They're still great vehicles, but what I'm telling you is there's a reason that there's a price difference. It's not badge engineering, okay? There is definitely a difference when it comes to driving it. The Lexus is way more refined in the sense of just wind noise, road noise, like it just feels more premium. Like the door, when I go to shut it, has like a nice clunk on the Lexus, like a solid, and then the doors on the Toyotas are just a little lighter, and just there's a difference, right? So again, not knocking Toyota, that's not what it is. I'm just saying, if you're in the market and you're like, well, that's dumb, why would I pay for a Lexus? Go drive it, and then you'll find out, and we're gonna talk about that as we get it out on the road. I like to start out with a non-scientific 0 to 60, so we're just going to put this into sport, and we're just gonna smash the pedal, okay? And here we go. Oh, we got just a little bit of wheel spin, which is crazy on this. 50, 60. So, respectable, right? Like, you're talking about a vehicle. Keep in mind, compare this to what it's supposed to be compared to. You're talking about a vehicle that gets around 40 mpgs, realistically. So a vehicle that basically gets 40 mpgs and you're getting a 0 to 60, I definitely feel like that's a 7.2, which is what it's rated at. We'll see, non-scientific, of course. It's 63 degrees right now here in Arizona, 1400 elevation. But anyway, so yeah, we'll see what that came out with on the screen. Certainly respectable, and it's got plenty of pep in its step, considering the gas mileage. And that's one thing I love about this hybrid, because many hybrids are just, you just don't have the pep in the step, and this does, so definitely respectable. Let's touch on the noise, which I've already kind of touched on, obviously, just how refined this vehicle is, and that's one reason that I generally always love Lexus vehicles. You guys know that if you're not new to my channel. They're super refined, right? So you've got some people that maybe aren't the happiest with Toyota Lexus in the sense of updating their technology, or even buttons, right? They may use some of the same buttons they've had for quite a long time. However, that has nothing to do with how this vehicle is engineered, right? Like, it's so refined and it's so quiet. It's so smooth over bumps. Like, it's impressive for the price tag. Like, here comes a truck by us and I'll be quiet. Hold on. You probably couldn't hear that at all. I would almost guarantee you could not hear any one of those, because I basically can't hear it. Super quiet in this Lexus. So if you're looking for something that's luxury, good on gas, this is probably a pretty good option. Now, touching on blind spots over to our left, the pillar's like slightly on the thick side, but it's not bad. You can certainly see no issues. As far as on our right side, again, not much of a blind spot, just kind of all the way in the back just a little bit, but of course this has blind spot monitoring if you have any issues. Also, I kind of already touched on it, this does have lane centering and adaptive cruise control, and that is nice on a long road. We just went over the cattle guard. Usually I'm quiet on that section. I wasn't. You could definitely see my body. Didn't hardly moved just a little bit. And the noise is very, very contained. It's impressive. And the bad part is it's hard to convey on camera when a vehicle is this good. Like, I guess you just gotta take my word for it and just go drive one, and then you'll kind of know. And I just want to say another thing very quickly. I'm not paid by any of these OEMs. All of the OEMs that I get week in, week out, it's just strictly to review their car, period, and I can say literally what I want to say. So I'm not just bragging about Lexus because, oh, maybe I get some kind of like commission check or something. Like, you know, something that happened to my grandparents is, and just a really quick sidetrack, a salesman at a Toyota dealer tried to tell them that the Toyota was the exact same vehicle as a Lexus, whatever it was. Basically, they were saying that the Venza is the same as the NX350h. It's infuriating that a salesman's going to say that. Nothing against the Venza. I'm not saying the Venza is not good, because it is a very good vehicle. But it is not the same vehicle. There may be a lot of similarities, some cross components. It's not as refined as this. And that's just the truth, right? And there's a price tag difference, and there's a reason for that difference. It's not just the badge. So, go drive it. The camera's hard to convey the differences, and I do my best to try to give you real examples of cars going by, cattle guards to show, like, and you can go watch all of my other videos. I drive the same routes for the most part, so that way you guys can kind of see how the vehicle's handles compared to other vehicles. Now, touching on suspension, let's go into sport one more time. Take this turn at 25. We have a little body roll. You definitely can tell there's not really any bolsters in the seat. You can kind of see me moving with it. And that's expected, right? It's a luxury vehicle, not a sports vehicle, so perfectly fine. And the amount of body roll in this for how comfortable and how much of a luxury side I would call this, very, very, that's what I would expect. Let's put it that way. As far as the different modes, Eco, Sport, Normal, there's definitely a difference. Toyota, Lexus both do really good at programming those, as far as, you know, some manufacturers or some specific vehicles, maybe you don't feel much of a difference in the modes, and it's kind of like, why'd you even put the modes there? Not the case. Sport, definitely peppy. As you're touching the pedal, it's ready to go. Suspension, just a little bit more stiffer. You can kind of feel it a little more. And then you're in comfort, aka normal, and you just kind of glide along, float along. Nice light steering. It's very nice. I think we've touched on just about everything for this 2024 Lexus NX350h. I highly recommend this for a medium to small size SUV. You're looking for good gas mileage, need something that's a daily driver, all-wheel drive, no matter what the weather, and still has some pep to its step. Definitely something I would go look at, and especially if you're wanting something a little bit more on the luxurious side, because this is definitely nothing short of that. It's all of that plus some more, in my opinion. I really am a fan of this vehicle. If there's anything else that I am missing that you guys would like to know, just comment down below. I'll try to respond to every single person. Again, almost to 20,000 subscribers. Thank each and every one of you. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.